Welcome to the brand new podcast of Leadership Actually. It's not Love Actually, it's Leadership Actually.
Leadership Actually. Can't believe we've actually got it off the ground.
I know it's taken a while,
Yeah.
but it's because leadership is not all about spreadsheets and strategy. It is also about people. It's also about the pressure and ill-timed team building exercises, all that sort of stuff. And when someone's been on a course and then they change automatically.
Yeah.
It's all that stuff and all the stuff in between. So we're going to have a play around with that. Hopefully it will be fun and admit a few mistakes along the way. So welcome, Lisa. I'm thrilled that you're joining me on this adventure.
I'm thrilled to be on this adventure, and I like the fact that we are dressed to match the furniture today. So I have, pink cushions, and you very much blend in with the chair. So I think we should make this a thing.
This is our podcast uniform?
Yeah, let's make this a thing. Whenever we go, we must match the furniture.
I'll try.
Okay, let's have that commitment.
I must admit, my colour palette is not always. So if I know that I have to wear this, that probably helps me out. So.
There we go. We love a uniform.
Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah, so I'm really pleased to be doing this. I know you asked me a little while ago, and you put a plea out, I noticed, put a plea out on LinkedIn that says, I've got this idea. I want to do a podcast. What made you do that then?
So I go on BBC Radio Manchester. I've done it for 7 years. And the reason I went on there, a bit of backstory first, bit of context, was someone turned me down for a personal development course because they said it'll cost too much money.
Yeah.
And it's not in line with your job. I've been training leaders for, as long as I can remember. So I was and public speaking. So I was how's it not part of my job? But anyway, so I got creative and I knew somebody at the BBC and I asked to go on one show and actually I got rejected for about 3 months. And then they came back to me and said, oh, well, will you go on this show with Simone Riley on the Bad Parents Club?
Yeah.
So I was I can speak about being a bad parent. I'd just had my daughter at the time. I was I've not got a clue what I'm doing, so this will be brilliant. I thought it was for one episode.
Yeah.
And 7 years later, I'm still on the BBC. And I had just this epiphany and I went, I love being on the radio. I love talking. I'd love to do this myself.
Yeah.
Actually. But I wouldn't like to do it on my own because I've done a bit of that. I'd love someone that you can spark with, that is fun, inspiring, and that's why I put the play out. And here we are today.
The person you said didn't come, so you got me.
Well, yeah, but no,
I'm
that's not true. That's not true. And I was genuinely delighted, And we've known each other relatively a short period of time.
We have.
And I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but we spots off each other. So this could be a disaster, but let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen?
I know.
Nobody listens. But we will.
And we had a great time doing it.
We did, and that's really important because I think that's part of our values, isn't it? So, and we'll probably talk about that later on.
I have got no doubt that we will.
Yeah. So I liked when you asked me. I liked the fact that you wanted to look at the human element. I think that was really important. That you had a real appreciation for how hard it is to be a leader. We have both been leaders. We've both been in the corporate world. You a bit longer actually, but in not age-wise. I just mean in work. Not insulting you then. But we've both been there and know that it's tough, and you do your growing up there. Looking after people, I think, can be a bit Marmite, actually. Some people just love it and thrive on it, and some of the things come naturally. Others find it a real challenge, and it's not something that naturally resonates with them, and, they need a little bit more help and support. So I think the fact that we look at that from a human point of view, I think, is really important, not just all the models, and although that's important to us, they're really good tools and resources. I really like that.
Because at the end of the day, it's about people.
Yeah.
That's when, most organisations will say the biggest asset we've got is our people. And, organisations spend a huge amount of money on resource and people. And really, why do I get out of bed in the morning is to get the best out of people, to enable others to shine in a way that's meaningful to them. So if we can do that and have some fun along the way, then that's awesome.
Amazing. And what is your leadership journey then?
So I've been so I've been a teacher, but I was a kind of a leader of a curriculum area, which, you know, straight out of university was like, whoa. Previous to that, I guess I'd been captain in football teams. I was a captain when I was a coach in America for 2 years.
Nice.
So that was like wild, going to different places and organising trips and staying with different families, but also having a small team where you've got to really make sure that they're on point and behaviours and all that sort of stuff. And then I've not always done direct leadership, so I've done, I had a team when I then moved into a call centre environment, as it were, a small team. I actually got promoted in my interview to have 2 teams, you know, and that was a bit...
Wow.
It was a bit weird, but I love that experience. And then I was a leader of the business, and I became a service delivery manager. So I was the face of the organisation and almost had a virtual team.
Yes.
You know, and I thought that I did a lot of growing up at that point. When I first started that role, looking back now, I'm like, I cringe. Was I ready? Probably not, but I really grew into it and I loved it. And on good days, you got butties and nights out and red wine.
Oh, yeah, I remember them.
And on bad days, you got a kick in and like you were getting called at 2:00 in the morning, or on a Saturday when you're doing your shopping and loads of grief from your wife because you're not like present as a dad and as a husband. So that sort of stuff. So that's always stuck with me. And then I guess my last role then was I was part of the talent leadership team. So that was looking at it from an organisational level to go, how do we utilise the skills and the tools that we've got and really shape, you know, a bit of OD, organisational development, a bit of like how do we equip leaders and managers versus, you know, what does a business need?
Yes.
As opposed to have a good day out learning stuff. And I think that's a real connect for me, that is going, it's almost business first.
Yes.
And then making sure that's aligned. So goal setting. And I'm really passionate about goal setting from a personal point of view first and foremost, but then from then an organisational level, because I've seen it done really badly.
Yeah.
You know, I've been there, the person that picks up your goals like the day before you're gonna get a bonus or not, the day after sort of thing. So it's like, how do you create that and lean into those day in and day out?
Nice. Do you think that's a topic coming on?
It has to be.
It
definitely will. We get an expert to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, like, formally, my last role, I was a director of people within a multi-academy trust. Not for a huge amount of time, but it gave me great experience, actually, kind of leading and reporting into a board.
Yes.
Having an exec team looking after a whole range of things in HR, where actually my experience has been more in talent development.
Yes.
So really stretched me, learned lots, but actually, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in other episodes, like the bit that gives me joy and the bit that gets me out of bed in the morning is enabling others to shine. You know, particularly leaders, and giving them the support, because recognising it is such a tough job.
Yes.
At all levels of leadership. You know, at exec level, at CEO level, it's really tough. It is all on the way down, you know, and even if you're aspiring to be a leader, you know, even navigating that, you know, so if we can help and support and give people bits that it makes them think more than anything. This isn't about giving people the right answers, like who has the right answers? If we go on Amazon this morning, there's 60,000 books on leadership. So this is just exploring it in a conversational way for me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it is tough. You know, there's been some real challenges. But actually there's been some real fun and some real joy and some real people moments that I have absolutely loved. And I think back, probably some of my leadership roles have been my most, fondest memories. I've got people who, throughout those years that still are friends or come to me or, I'll comment on my LinkedIn and talk about the days when they were part of my team or I was part of their team. It really shaped me as an individual. So as tough as it's been, I I relished it. You know, I loved the fact that I worked with people and that I had a team of people to look after. I thought it was a privilege. And although there's lots of people and humans, we come with lots of different, you know, balls to juggle, lots of, you know, potential issues. And I did love that. I loved the challenge, and I loved the, you know, learning about how I could help and support all, you know, people as whole. I really believe that we need to look at things like a whole life balance, you know, and I think I tried to adopt that before it was even a thing. That, you know, a real appreciation that outside work, people have got lives, you know, they've got all these stuff going on, and then they've got inside work. And if I can, and the organisation can get to a place where I've got a real appreciation of what they need outside work, they've got a real appreciation of what we, you know, we need inside work, and then we collaborate and try and go, well, as much as possible, let's try and get as much of that, you know, in your world. So it's like a whole world view. And I really like that as a, right, and now I've got a team to think about that have got all these different things going on, and how do we create an environment that everybody thinks about everybody. And that sounds like utopia, but I think it can be done. You know, if you've got, and we'll probably talk about this, you know, and the purpose and the values and the team ethos, and everybody gets, you know, each other's back, and I think you can really get people to that place. And I think that's why I'm really passionate about culture as well. So leadership and culture have featured a huge part of my career, and I continue to be very passionate and work in that area. So it's been defining for me, you know, leadership, tough as it's been amazing as well.
It shines through, and I don't know about you, but I know I've made tons of mistakes. and this is not for 1 minute saying leadership is easy. You know, during this podcast we will do themes. You've already said that might be a topic. You know, we want to hear your themes and topics, so comment below and we'll definitely look to cover them. Equally, yeah, down below. Equally, who would you recommend that we have on as guests? You know, we'll have a selection and a pool of people, but actually we'd love a diverse pool of people that we can talk to, because there's something really special about the diversity and different perspectives. I think that's when you start to appreciate and then find out for yourself, like, what works for me, when you've got a wider compass and sphere than just being in one organisation.
Absolutely.
You know, and one way of doing it, there's tons of ways, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
but I know I've definitely made mistakes along the way.
Oh, we're going to talk about those, because I am known for it, you know. I, like in life, you know, and I typically will fall over, you know, fresh air, and I've fallen over. And I'm known for it, you know, clumsy, I guess, and I've done that in my work career often, and had to learn to embrace it as well. That says none of us are perfect, but, you know, authentically I might not say the right thing or do the right thing or make mistakes, but with the right intentions. I think that's important, and actually laugh about that and go, right, well, and what did I learn from it? And do you remember when that, you know, obvious falling over happened at work? And, you know, and we go, yeah, and we move through it, and I think it's really important. I think it's important to both of us that we bring that side to it that goes, this isn't about, well, we'll tell you how you can do this perfectly and in the right way, because we don't have the answers. We've learned lots of stuff, and I think that's important. If you do something, you learn from it. But I think we'll bring that to the table, won't we? We'll talk about, I know I'll ask you and you'll ask me, what's gone wrong then? And then I think, you know, through those stories, we can then explore with our guests, well, you know, in the guru world,
yeah,
what might we do?
How should we do it differently?
Yeah. So I think that's our format, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, genuinely, I think I had loads of flashbacks about all the stuff I did wrong then, like, they've washed over me. Also, I've got a simple hashtag in this, is hashtag everyone has a story.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has a lived experience of this stuff. And I get really curious and fascinated with what other people have, what they've been through. And, you know, if you're listening to this, you know, what are the things that come to your mind when you make a mistake? You know, were you brave enough to admit that to others, to yourself? You know, this is about being really humble and honest, if nothing else, certainly from our perspective. But we'll encourage you, we'll ask you some kind of open questions for you to think about as we go through this, because hopefully that then makes it a little bit more useful. And thank you for listening, because this is your time and it's the most precious gift that you have. So we genuinely really appreciate it.
Yeah, totally, that you want to listen to us. And we want to hold your hand, don't we? It feels a bit like we're in the room with you. We've got your back. We've been there. We've done some of this stuff. And hopefully you'll get some useful stuff along the way. And
if you're gardening, walking the dog, it doesn't matter. You
dancing
might be
in the kitchen.
Could be that. What would be your song actually if you were dancing in the kitchen?
Oh my God! What would be? It would probably be a Take That song or a.
You said that so obviously.
Obviously, or something like that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that would really make me dance in the kitchen. I do love a bit of dancing in the kitchen. Do you?
Oh, absolutely.
I thought so.
I'm made to dance actually by my daughter.
Yeah.
6 is a particular topic at the minute. So the 6 theme tune.
Yes.
When she dances and then she drags me along and expects me to know what to do and copy her and stuff. So I am
Demo.
Not quite yet. No. We'll build up to that. But I am known for a Christmas party and then being one of the first on the dance floor. And the ability not to care what other people think.
I love that, Lee. We'll explore that. The other thing we've got in common, though, Ben, I was thinking about this, is my shortening name for the Lisa and Lee is Lee. So Lee and Lee, so that's in common.
Lee. Beautiful. I've been called that most of my life by my older sister.
There we are. So, loads in common. We can explore that as we go through. So I'm really excited that we're off. So let's get going. Let's do some more.
Brilliant. So what's the next episode we've got lined up?
So the next one is we're going to do a little bit more of getting to know you, getting to know me, knowing you, knowing me.
You're on it.
I'm on it. I'm going to grill you a little bit. You can grill me a little bit. And I think let's look a little bit of our leadership journey, what might have gone wrong. Just let the listeners know, because they're trusting us with their ears, so let's give them a bit more.
I love that. And you know what? I think if you're going to do this and ask of others, actually to be authentic and true and dig a bit deeper, I think that's right. I think that's the right thing to do. Actually, because it's about what... And I often think this with teens, and particularly is what are you willing to give of yourself?
Yeah.
So that others can relate. And I guess it's about trusting people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trust
is massive.
So people listen to this and either trust us or turn us off and go, never again. Don't trust them, they're speaking waffle.
Fair enough.
It's a choice, isn't it?
It's a choice. And I think what we'll always say is, this isn't a masterclass. This is a messy class. And so, those who embrace the messy, come on in.
Brilliant. I'm already looking forward to the next episode.
We are dressed as the furniture.
I can't not wear this now.
No, nor me. Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. So I hope you're excited. We'll try and keep it to, between 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It might creep over occasionally, but your time's precious and we want to make the most of it. So have some fun. Keep those suggestions below. Give us a like, a subscribe, and let's enjoy this leadership, actually, not love. It's not love. Leadership actually journey.
Cheese, I love it.